Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. If you're watching us live, thank you very much. If you're watching us recorded, you guys are really cool too. I hope that you send us an email. Our email address is hourofpowershow@gmail.com. You can also find our page on Facebook. Remember to like our page and get all your friends to like our page, because when we get to 500 friends, we're going to have something really fun happen.
Which you can also vote on our page.
Which you can vote on. So you can
Ryan
kind of figure it out, which I think that was a good
Did
idea.
you vote on it?
Oh yeah.
Bastard.
Yeah.
I think we've had a few people vote on it so far. So we'll leave that one up. Also on our page, you can normally find our hot girl off that you can vote on as well. And so then we're going to go through that. Right now we're going through probably our last segment is going to be on sports. We're going through a few more baseball questions. I think the next big one to ask you about, one of the big stories of the year, have been the Cleveland Indians.
Right.
How they've been playing very well, and they're on top of their division at the moment. On a division where Minnesota Twins, who are expected to do well, are 10 games behind.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge shocker. I mean, nobody expected the Indians to do anything. They didn't have any pitchers to know. Fausto Carmona was pretty well known, but I mean, everybody thought that he was more of a never will be than a has been, or he would never live up to his potential. Justin Masterson came out of nowhere and is having a hell of a season. I think he's 6-0 right now. I mean, they're 23 and 13 right now, and 14-4 at home. I think they've won 13 straight games at home right now. It's just incredible what they're doing. With the lineup that doesn't have a whole lot of marquee names. I mean, Travis Hafner's well past his prime. They've got Asdrubal Cabrera, Austin Kearns. They don't have anybody that's really a big name, which is really impressive for what they're doing, and I love it. I mean, Grady Sizemore, he had a triumphant return, and then it's kind of tailed off since then. But still, the team's playing great right now. Granted, they're only 5-5 in their last 10, but they're still playing good baseball. And they're only one game behind right now as far as the best record in the majors. They're at 23-13, one game behind the Philadelphia Phillies. So that's awesome to see. You love seeing parity. You love seeing teams rise, from the bottom to the top. And on the other end of that scale is, like you said, Minnesota, who is 12-23 right now, 12.5 games back, or 10.5 games back, of the Indians. The big problem with the Twins is that they have suffered a lot of injuries so far. Joe Mauer, I think, has played in only a handful of games, which is a huge hit for their offense. Their pitching hasn't been great. Granted, Francisco Liriano threw a no-hitter, but he had an ERA of 9 going into that game, and he walked 6 during that no-hitter. And Justin Morneau, who is a former MVP, he's coming off a concussion last year, and he just doesn't look right. He's having trouble tracking the ball. He's not seeing the ball clearly, and so he's not hitting well. He's hitting in the 200s. I think their highest batting average on this team is somewhat close to probably about 270 or so. Let me check real quick. Oh, nope, Jason Kubel, never mind, is batting 335, but other than that, I don't think they have a whole lot of production coming out of their offense. At least from everyday player. So that's the biggest problem with the Twins right now. They don't have a deep pitching staff. Nate Blackburn's getting lit up. A lot of the other players are getting lit up. It's not good to see. So,
do you think they'll try to pick somebody up come trade time? Or do you think they don't want to spend the money and won't really go for it?
Yeah, that's the thing with the Twins. They're such a small market team that they don't have the huge payroll where they can just say, all right, we feel like we're about to make a run. Let's go out and let's trade for Derek Lowe, or let's go out and let's trade for such and such who's on a team that's falling, but we could use them to push us into the postseason. I don't see that happening just because they just don't have the market for it. They're going to accept that this year is a lost year, realize that they can come back next year with Mauer and Morneau, and maybe they have some people in their farm system that can come up and make a contribution that aren't just quite ready yet this year.
Going back to Cleveland really quick, another stat that I had heard this morning on a certain radio show that probably does not want to be affiliated with us, is that Cleveland, even though they're one of the better teams in the league right now, they have the worst home attendance. Like, they are 30th in home attendance. They have, I think, an average, they said, of like 14,000 fans when their stadium normally fits like 30. So.
It's Major League all over again.
Exactly. This is basically Major League.
All right. Yeah.
So, all right. The next question I wanted to bring up with you was someone who had a big weekend over Mother's Day weekend, and the weekend before, I believe, was Justin Verlander. He had his no-hitter, and then was it 2 no-hitters, or was it a no-hitter and a one-hitter?
I think he just had one no-hitter. I don't think he had...
I thought he had a second really good game. But it's all right. He's a good player, so he probably had another really good game.
He may have. Let me check his recent starts, but I don't think... I know he had the one-hitter... and like I said, Francisco Liriano had a no-hitter just 4 days before he did. But
so we got kind of another year of the pitcher. Last year, everyone was talking about how, without the steroids, the pitchers were doing great. So.
Right. But actually, it's just that, we've got plenty of young pitching right now, and that there's not a ton of great hitting in baseball right now. There's not a lot of great hitters, and so I think that's the problem that's going on right now. Yeah, the start before... for Justin Verlander was 8 hits, 3 runs. So he hasn't had a start that's anywhere close to the start that he had, obviously, the no-hitter. His previous best outing was 3 hits and 3 runs, or 6 hits and 2 runs against Texas. So
the important question is, how long until he's a Yankee?
I think I think he only goes to the Yankees if he's traded. I don't think he does it. I don't think he signs there. I think he's... he's got a lot of integrity, and I think that he has a lot of devotion to the Tigers franchise. So I think he's going to go against the forces of evil. I think he's going to be a modern day Luke Skywalker. Yes.
Excellent. All right. I think I may have run out of my baseball questions.
All right. Well, that actually works just about perfectly. We're just a little bit past the half hour, so let's go ahead and do sports on the half hour.
Excellent.
Not that there's a whole lot to do, but...
There's a few games of baseball going on right now. Starting in the NHL, as we mentioned before, the Sharks in Detroit are going tonight. As I said earlier, if the Sharks can skate, if they can keep up with the Red Wings, they have a good chance to win. But the experience of Detroit... Ooh, almost lost it. The experience of Detroit is... it could be a detriment to the Sharks, but it should be a really good game going on tonight.
All right, we'll move to Major League Baseball. We've got the Braves and Nationals at Atlanta, tied 0-0, bottom of the first. In the top of the eighth, we've got the Mets beating Colorado 7-5 in Colorado. At bottom of the second, Seattle and Baltimore tied 0-0. The Dodgers are beating Pittsburgh, bottom of the second, 1-0. Kansas City is also doing that to New York, 1-0. Top of the second, Tampa Bay beat Cleveland earlier today, 7-4. Chicago lost to St. Louis 9-1 in Wrigley, and Arizona lost to San Francisco in San Francisco 3-2. And like we said, basketball will start in 25 minutes.
Excellent. The golf we talked about today, but pretty much there's Tiger Woods, who is out. And basically, what else do you really care about? The winner is Nick Watney.
The leader.
Sorry. Other big names in the top.
Martin Kamer, former number 1 this year. He's at -5, tied for 5th. And Rory Sabatini, who you don't really hear much about, also tied for 5th at -5. All right, so with that said, should we go into a quick preview of the Hot Girl Off real quick? Give people some time to start searching for
sounds good to me. All right. Do you know who it is this week?
I believe it's Natalie Portman and Hayden Panettiere.
Oh, yeah. This was going to be the pretty easy week. All right. Natalie Portman, Hayden Panettiere. Natalie Portman is, of course, doing a lot of movies right now. She was in that movie Your Highness, which, it was all right. It wasn't as good as I was hoping for. There was definitely not as much smoking in it as I was assuming there was going to be. And I thought that was pretty lame. but she looked hot in it, and it was mostly funny. Some parts, yeah. It was one of those movies where, you know, I laugh at pretty much anything, but there was even parts of that movie where I was a little disgusted at. So that really kind of says something about the movie.
Yeah.
So that was good. She was good in that. She's doing a lot of stuff right now. Hayden Panettiere was from Heroes.
She was recently in Scream 4.
Yes, and so she did that. She's, you know, very hot.
Mm-hmm.
She made it this far, so she had to be at least a little hot.
A little bit.
So, yeah, that is who is up this week.
Okay, so go ahead, look at them. Feel free to cast your votes on Facebook, or you can go ahead and email them to us. You can chat them to us, or you can through either Ustream or Facebook, or you can text them to us if that's easier for you too.
If that's your pleasure.
That's right.
But I think it's about time that we need to take a commercial break, right?
Sure.
All right. It felt right. So please stick around. We'll be right back. Thank you very much.
All right.